For 2,000 years, painters, sculptors, and musicians have celebrated the figure of Jesus in an urgency born from the depths of the human soul to find, see, and touch the figure of the Savior. This ancient desire has conquered the cinema as well. Hundreds of movies have combed the sacred literature of the Bible, of the life of the saints, searching for stories with high moral quality that would allow the cinema to succeed as a means of communication for the general public. Stories which would touch the religious feelings of the ordinary people so that even missionaries could show those works in the territories for them to evangelize. This is how it was for the movies that have told the story of Jesus over 115 years of history of the big screen. Let's go through some of them together. The first great film of the silent era is the Italian movie Christus, dating back to 1916. It describes the nativity, the adult life, and the resurrection of the Nazarene. The film follows an episodic plot structure, as if showing pictures of the Via Crucis. They would exalt the public's imagination with pictures recalling famous Italian paintings. Back then, cinema was still young, and it found its inspiration in art history. The King of Kings, 1927, tells the story of Mary Magdalene and of her encounter with Jesus. It's the dawn of the great American colossal era, with special effects, color, and the desire to introduce the public to moving characters they will become fond of, even if this means having to part from the sacred sources. The production of the movie was so compelling, said director DeMille, that during those days the actors who interpreted Jesus and the apostles renounced drink, gambling, and a nightlife, and even to meet their wives. Ben Hur, 1959, tells the tale of a conflict between two old friends, a noble Jew and a Roman tribune, both living in Palestine in Jesus' time. It is a unique movie, for it chooses never to show the Nazarene's face in the clips that feature him. We see him turned away from us, we see his hands, and we listen to a musical theme that announces a universal presence which lives in each of our hearts. In those times, the Vatican Council begins to recognize the utility of the means of mass communication to spread the knowledge of the Christian faith. During that year, an atheist and Marxist director, Pasolini, moved by a deep religious crisis, films the Gospel according to St. Matthew and dedicates it to the dear, happy, familiar memory of Pope John XXIII. In those years of great ideological and political conflict, this movie describes Jesus faithfully, according to the Gospel. It is a chronicle that really succeeds in bringing him back among men.
Take me now before I change my mind.
In the early 70s, the young people of the whole world are in turmoil. They are looking for models to follow. The musical Jesus Christ Superstar, 1973, shows them Jesus during his last 7 days on earth, describing him as lonely, abandoned, and full of doubts. He becomes a very human character, the same as Judas the traitor, a man who is forced to carry the burden of having betrayed his master until the end. Jesus of Nazareth, 1977, by Franco Zeffirelli, is the most accurate movie about the life of Jesus. It is an attempt to find sacredness during dark times in Italy and Europe. Jesus is represented as a victim of a violent power. Peter stands out among the apostles. He is rough and surly, but real, as is his personal drama when he faces the mystery. The Last Temptation of Christ by Martin Scorsese addresses the men of the late 80s, fragile and full of uncertainties. It is not an historical account of Jesus' life, but rather a fantastical meditation. It shows Jesus as a man who takes a step back when confronted with his destiny. It shows Jesus as a man who takes a step back when confronted with his destiny, deciding to live a normal life, to marry and have children. Only at death will he truly desire the cross. The historical Jesus, shown from the night of the Olive Garden until his death, returns in The Passion of Christ in 2004. Mel Gibson does not only use the Gospels to tell his story, but draws from the visions of German mystic Emmerich as well. It is a raw movie. We feel the pain and the human sufferings of the Son of God. We feel the whips of the centurions on our backs. This certainly won't be the last of it. Man, created in the image and likeness of God, will always represent Jesus in an attempt to search for God and for his deepest, most authentic self.